Hi everyone, welcome to the final film for English 24, which I am recording in my backyard, and I mean literally in my backyard. So folks that have taken English 23 and I guess English 22 know that I do all my work in a little micro office that I built in my backyard, and that's it behind me. So, as I maybe have mentioned, or maybe you know, I was a furniture maker for many years, so I finally got around to building a little building just for myself, inspired in part by Henry David Thoreau and Japanese tea house architecture. If you remember, we were at a Japanese tea house at the Botanic Garden for one of these little films. I learned my trade from my father as a furniture maker, and he in turn spent some time in Japan working with Japanese furniture makers who are, let's be honest, probably the best in the world. Okay, so why am I here? Well, I've been traveling all over Santa Barbara. I thought it would be finally fun to come back home. By the way, there's a chicken behind me who's might get a little loud during this. I grew up on a farm also, so we have a small urban farm here. Over there, you can't really see. There are just over 50 raised beds for vegetables. There are trees. The one tree you can see behind me there are actually two trees. One is an apple, one is a plum. They're both developing fruit now. Neither are ripe, but the plum tree will be pretty soon. So, yeah. So I thought it was appropriate to be in my backyard insofar as the final documentary film that we've watched is The Biggest Little Farm, which is kind of in our backyard here in Santa Barbara insofar as it's over that away, a little over an hour in Ventura County, the county, of course, south of us here at Santa Barbara. And, you know, we've had documentaries that take up a similar, we had a documentary that took up a similar theme, which is Living the Change, which took place, as you know, in New Zealand. But I thought it would be fun to bring things closer to home and to talk about activism again in a very roll up your sleeves kind of way. So we've seen all sorts of activism. Everyone we've met, really, that has come to our class, one way or another, is sort of an activist. You may not think of someone like Kim Stanley Robinson as an author being an activist, but yeah, I think it's fair to say that he is. And we've seen the representation of climate and environmental activists in the media with First Reformed and the East. And it's often this sort of really, really radical cult kind of thing, and eco-terrorism, eco-violence, you know. But there are other kinds of activism, simple activism, activisms like rolling up your sleeve and literally taking on the job of trying to regenerate just a little portion of the earth. And that's what we see in The Biggest Little Farm. I think it's a very moving, well, first, it's a very beautiful documentary. And if I forget to tell you, they just released a sequel to it. If you enjoyed it, and you get Disney Plus, I think it streams exclusively from there. I happen to get it as a father of a 7-year-old. It's, you know, required that you get Disney, but it's a pretty good film. The first one is really the one to see, and I hope you enjoy it. And I hope it's a good note on which to end the course, insofar as, yeah, activism can indeed take many forms, and it can be very beautiful and very moving, I think. It doesn't mean that we can forget about doing all the other forms of activism that we need to do, and all the things that hopefully you've thought about as we've been introduced to them throughout the course. But it's also the case that it can be, a way of living, a simpler way of living for some people. Again, this is not the only way. There are lots of different ways of doing it, but it's one for you to think about. Okay, so this concludes the last of the lectures, these tiny little lectures for English 24. I hope that you've enjoyed biking around Santa Barbara with me. And yeah, I guess really there's nothing left to say. So take care.